30, we'll call the March 12th, 2024 meeting to order. Would you please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Supervisor Clear will be joining us by phone this morning. Item 3 on the agenda is public comment on agenda items other than development or rezoning applications. Hearing none, we'll move on to approval of the minutes from the February 24th regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion, Dan.
Motion to approve. Oh,
Okay.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Mr. Bach?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Moving on to approval of the bills. Any questions or comments about the bills?
I'll make a motion to
I'll make a
approve,
motion
Dan.
to approve the bills.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. We'll call for a vote. Mr. Bach?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Moving on to bids and quotations. First item will be the agreement for legal services for the zoning hearing board. Attorney Shaw?
Yes, the existing solicitor for the zoning hearing board has a conflict due to a matter involving Mill Creek Township School District that came before the board at its last meeting. The firm that does the zoning hearing board also represents the school district in matters. As a result, he recused himself from that case, so the board needs the assistance of counsel on this matter. We reached out to Attorney David Rhodes of the Elderkin firm, who was willing to assist the board. Before you is his retention letter setting forth the terms of his retention, including his hourly rate of $200 an hour. Due to the exigent circumstances, he has begun work already because there are deadlines and so forth that the board needs to meet. And so this approval will be retroactive to March 4th of 2024. The recommendation is for the board to approve.
Thank you, Attorney Shaw. Any questions or comments from the board? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion, Dan.
Thank you.
And I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. We'll call for a vote. Mr. Bach?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next item on the agenda is the MDT and laptop computer purchase. Chief Mook?
Yes, IT Manager Chris Filson is requesting approval to purchase 1 laptop computer and 4 mobile data terminals and 4 mobile data terminal docks for the police department to replace outdated computers. He is also requesting approval to purchase 1 mobile data terminal and 1 mobile data terminal dock for the truck used by the new Animal Resource Officer for the Code Enforcement Department. The Dell laptop costs $1,490. The cost per MDT is $3,464.51, and the cost per dock is $1,269. The police department costs for the computer purchases are $18,934.04. The total computer purchase for the police department, that 18,000 figure was for the MDTs and docks. When you add in the laptop, the total computer purchase for the PD is $20,424.04. The capital project amount this year for patrol MDTs and docking stations was $20,500. The total cost separately for the computer purchase for code enforcement is $4,733.51.
Thank you, Chief. Any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. We'll call for a vote. Mr. Bach?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next 3 items will be for the fire department. Can probably list all these at the same time, Chief. Chief Cliff.
Thank you. The first one is, at the last Fire Commission meeting, a recommendation was made by Mill Creek Township. The recommendation was made from the Fire Commission that Mill Creek Township purchases an ambulance to become a backup for Mill Creek paramedic service. The purchase of this ambulance will lessen the burden on mutual aid agencies having to come into Mill Creek Township, and this ambulance will also enhance our emergency response capabilities and improve the overall service delivery to the community. It's my recommendation that Mill Creek Township purchases a used 2012 Ford F-450 Lifeline Ambulance Type 1 for $37,797 from Mount Union Fire Department. This ambulance will then need to go to P-Fund Superior Sales, which is the Lifeline dealer for this area, to have some minor work done to include the installation of a new Stryker power load system, Stryker power cot, relettering, and some miscellaneous maintenance items for the total cost, additional cost of $66,283. This purchase of a used ambulance over a brand new one will save the township approximately $200,000 that was budgeted in this year's capital budget. The second proposal in front of you is a proposal from Stryker. There are two separate proposals. The first is for 2 LifePak 15 cardiac monitors and accessories to include 2 Lucas chest compression machines. And the second proposal is for an additional LifePak 15 cardiac monitor and 1 Lucas chest compression machine. So the 2 LifePak 15s initially were for the ALS QRS, and then the additional one is for the ambulance. It's my recommendation that Mill Creek Township purchases all this equipment from Stryker for a total cost of $194,610.66. All of this equipment is essential for Mill Creek Township Fire Department to have life-saving equipment in our advanced life support responses. This equipment will enable us to outfit 2 advanced life support engine companies and an additional new ambulance acquired by Mill Creek Township Fire Department. All of these items were budgeted in the capital budget, and I recommend the approval. And the last quote in front of you is from Whitmire for structural firefighting gear. Attached is a total combined price of $29,275 for additional 6 sets of structural firefighting gears for Mill Creek Township firefighters, and I recommend that approval as well.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Any comments or questions from the board? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Dan.
And I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. We'll call for a vote. Mr. Bach?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is the Oxer Sidewalk Project tree removal. Mr. Rodemeyer?
Yes, thank you. This recommendation is in regards to our 2024 Oxer Road Sidewalk project. We received 3 quotes for tree removal services. Attached within there is 3 quotes. We received $1,500 from Scott's Tree Service, $2,000 from Star Tree Service, and from J. Thomas Service, we received a quote of $2,585. This is to remove a tree that's grown into the sidewalk per that project. It relates to the access agreement that we approved at last month's meeting. This is last meeting, not last month's, but at 1417 Ardmore Avenue. So we are recommending award to Scott's Tree Service for the price of $1,500.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Dan.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next 3 items are for Public Works. We have 2 pump lift station upgrades, an I&I contract with Sewer Specialties, and a keg floor cleaner nozzle. Mr. Donikowski.
Thank you. Good morning. The Sewer Department is seeking approval to hire process and data automation to do the software programming for our 2 pump lift stations and 3 total hardware kits to update our lift stations. The total price for the programming and hardware kits is $63,270 plus a $8,270 startup fee where a PDA will be on site for station startups. This is a budgeted item and the cost will be split between the East Gore and Shore Haven lift stations. I recommend contracting this work to PDA. The Sewer Department is seeking approval to hire Sewer Specialty Services Company for testing and sealing mainline sewers, manhole grouting, and pipe patch repair sleeves for this year's sewer I&I project per the attached quote. This work will be performed under CoStar's contract 016-E23-300. Funds for this will be taken from the I&I grouting and maintenance line of the sanitary sewer capital budget. The current balance of this budget line is $375,676. I recommend contracting this work to Sewer Specialty Services. And lastly, the Streets Department is seeking approval to purchase a KEG 8-jet floor cleaner for the better cleaning of our larger storm sewers. One quote was received from A&H Equipment for a price of $4,106.59 under CoStar's contract 025-E22-458. Funds will be taken from the KEG jet sled line of the streets capital budget, leaving a balance of $893.41. I recommend the purchase of this sled from A&H Equipment.
Thank you, Mr. Donikowski. Any questions from the board on these items? Okay, is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve?
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is the Mill Fair Special Collection Event Postcard Printing. Ms. Stutzman?
Good morning, thank you. On May 18th, the Milford Compost Center will be hosting the annual special collection event for tires and paper shredding. Mailing a postcard to all Mill Creek Township residents is just one way we communicate this recycling event. It is my recommendation to print these postcards, a quantity of 29,500 through Printing Concepts for a total cost of $2,936. CoStar's number 0000547,918. The funding for this purchase will come from the CRS operational line item advertising and printing. And this expense is also eligible for an 80% reimbursement through the PA DEP HHW education grants.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is a grapple bucket for the Parks and Recreation Department. Mr. Bach?
Thank you. The Parks and Recreation Department would like to purchase a grapple bucket attachment for the John Deere compact track loader. This attachment would be used for trail maintenance, stump removal, tree limb removal, brush cleanup, etc. The grapple bucket attachment was allotted for in the 2024 Parks and Rec capital budget. Grapple bucket would be purchased through John Deere Land Pro Equipment under PA CoStar's number 4400028105 for the price of $5,148.82. There was $7,200 allotted in the capital budget for this purchase, leaving a surplus of $2,051.18. Our director, Ashley Marsteller, recommends that the Parks and Rec Department purchase this John Deere grapple bucket for $5,148.82 from Land Pro Equipment under the PA CoStar's contract. I'd like to make a motion to approve this purchase.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 7, new and amended ordinances under review. Attorney Shaw?
Yes, we have three that are being reviewed. First is the Saldo, and still working with the Engineering and Planning and Development Department to finalize the review of that document. Second, widening of the Old Glenwood Park Avenue. This relates to the road dedication for Old Glenwood Park Avenue that was approved by the board at the last meeting. An ordinance is needed to officially designate the area as a road right-of-way for the turnaround. We are working on that, and that should be available for the board at the next meeting. And lastly, we're looking at amendments to Chapter 55, Article 3, reimbursement for services and materials. Currently, Chapter 55, Article 3 provides specific authority to recover funds for volunteer fire departments. With the addition of the Township Fire Department, We're looking to consolidate that process for the volunteer departments and to allow the Mill Creek Fire Department to obtain recoveries as may be allowed by law. We're also looking into the same for the ambulance acquisition approved at today's meeting.
Okay, thank you. Next item, item 8, Stormwater Management Maintenance Agreement, plan for 2240 Powell Avenue. Mr. Waldinger?
Thank you. Good morning. Yes, the developer at 2240 Powell Avenue, which is MM&R Properties LLC, submitted their stormwater management plan for review for consistency with the stormwater management ordinance. In front of you is a letter from Greenman Peterson Incorporated, our contracted third-party engineer reviewer, who states that the plan meets the substantive requirements of the stormwater management ordinance. They have also submitted a stormwater maintenance agreement on the proper township form, properly signed. So at this time, Zoning and Development Officer Matt Puz recommends approval of the stormwater maintenance agreement and acceptance of the stormwater management plan for improvements at 2240 Powell Avenue.
Okay, any comments or questions for Mr. Waldinger on this?
I have a quick question, Matt. What's taking place there?
I am not
Is it
100% positive.
It's just additional paving.
Okay, no actual construction.
Yeah, I
It-
think they have some gravel area, existing gravel area that they're turning into paving.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank
It
you,
is,
Rob.
yeah, it is not a land development plan. It's separate from, so that sounds correct.
Okay. I'll make a motion for approval of the maintenance agreement and acceptance of the SMP.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is a financial security lease for Dudley Medical Building. Mr. Waldinger?
Thanks. Mr. Chairman, if I could just go back to the stormwater management maintenance section again. Just wanted to note that the township did receive a stormwater maintenance agreement and plan from the Dollar General on Zimmerly Road. It did not make the agenda for this meeting, so it cannot be voted on by the board, but we did receive it. Everything is in order, and it will be presented to the board for approval on March 26th.
Okay, great, thank you for that clarification.
On to the financial security release for Dudley Medical Building. The developer of that project, MCH Corporation, has requested the release of their financial security. We do have a letter from Greenman Peterson Incorporated stating that their stormwater management was built in reasonable conformity to the plan. Also in front of you is an engineer's certification signed by Township Engineer Rob Rodemoyer, stating that they have met all the requirements for release of their letter of credit. So at this time, I would recommend that the board release First National Bank of PA letter of credit number 3789 in the amount of $266,717.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve from the board?
I'll make that motion, Dan.
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 10 is a temporary access agreement for 3916 Oxer Road. Mr. Rodemeyer?
Yes, again, this is for the Oxer Road Sidewalk project that we have going on. This ties in actually into the tree removal that we just discussed earlier as far as the removal. This is the second property that we're essentially need to access their driveway in order to get, the tree down. So in order, based upon where that tree is located, so we requested the homeowners at 3916 Oxer Road to give us temporary access in order to get in there to remove that tree. So you have the temporary access agreements signed by the property owner. So the engineering department is recommending approval and signature of this temporary access agreement for 3916 Oxer Road.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion from the board for approval?
So moved.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, it's been moved and seconded.
Gonna love that delay.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 11 is the Asbury Woods Rain Barrel Project. Ms. Stutzman.
Thank you. Mill Creek Township will be partnering with Asbury Woods and the Erie County Conservation District to host 2 rain barrel workshops open to the general public. Workshops will take place on Saturday, May 4th at the Erie County Conservation District and Sunday, June 9th at Asbury Woods. Asbury Woods will be purchasing 48 rain barrels for participants to take home at the end of each session. It is my recommendation that we reimburse Asbury Woods $2,500 per workshop for a total of $5,000 so that 48 families may benefit from the knowledge and application of backyard stormwater diversion through the rain barrels. This was budgeted for in the 2024 Public Improvement Capital line item.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions for Ms. Stutzman? Not, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. You stumped me on that one. Item 12, Resolution 2024-R4. Matt?
Thank you. The Parks and Recreation Department would like to apply for grant funding through the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources 2024 Community Conservation and Planning Grant Program for the funding of a comprehensive recreation, park, and open space plan. Comprehensive Recreation, Park, and Open Space Plan is a plan for the future. It involves research, public input, and analysis process that leads to a municipal plan that identifies the methods, resources, organizational capacity, and capital investment needed to accomplish both short-term and long-term recreation and conservation goals for the community. The planning process includes substantial citizen involvement, inventory of existing conditions and facilities, analysis of issues and community needs, and specific recommendations that set forth actions, priorities, and cost. It also includes an implementation plan and strategy for measuring and evaluating progress. The planning process would be completed through the involvement and coordination of the Parks and Recreation Department, the Planning and Development Department, and the guidance of a professional design consultant team. Comprehensive park recreation and open space plans are typically developed by a team of professionals that include community planners, landscape architects, and park and recreation professionals. At least one member of the consultant team must be a park and recreation practitioner with a minimum of 3 years of experience, or holding a certified park and recreation professional certification with a minimum of 1 year of experience in the administration, planning, development, and maintenance of a comprehensive park and recreation system. Should the township be successful in this grant round, funding would be awarded and available for use beginning in 2025. Before you is a resolution page required with the submission of the DCNR grant application. This resolution acknowledges Mill Creek Township's intention to undertake a comprehensive recreation, park, and open space planning project if awarded. This resolution also allows for the permission of Parks and Recreation Director Ashley Marsteller to electronically sign and authorize the township's grant application. This resolution is recommended for approval by Ms. Marsteller.
Thank you, Matt. Any comments or questions from the board?
I'll make a motion to approve this resolution.
Thank you.
Okay, and I will second it.
Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Item 13 is a grant application amendment. Chief Mook.
Yes, thank you. Earlier this year, the Burn Skip local grant application period became open for local law enforcement agencies to apply for funding from the PA Commission on Crime and Delinquency, and the board had approved moving forward with the grant application at the January 9th meeting in partnership with UPMC Safe Harbor. Up to $200,000 is still available in grant money from the PCCD that can be used to extend the Coast project for MPD. because the Coast Grant has already funded valuable projects here, notably the Peer Support Program and the Crisis Co-Responder via partnership with UPMC Safe Harbor, I highly recommend we still move forward with the grant application, but due to some operational concerns, I recommend removal of UPMC Safe Harbor from our grant application so that we may have full operational control over these two programs.
Thank you, Chief. Any comments or questions for the chief on this item?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 14 is a letter of grant support for Asbury Woods and the Voices for Independence. Mrs. Clear?
Yes, thank you very much. It has been requested that Mill Creek Township give letters of support to Asbury Nature Center as they seek grant funding for some property that they are going to be assembling and getting. And they asked for a letter of support from Mill Creek Township. And we also have a request from Voices for Independence. They are looking to renovate the old M Cafe, which is very close to their location, which is in Mill Creek Township as well. And they are applying for a DCED grant, which is an economic development grant for broadband. So they are both requesting that we send letters of support in their grant request. So I'll make a motion to approve the letters of, I do believe we need a motion for this. I'll make a motion to approve the letters.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 15 is a transfer of task force equipment. Ms. Anderson?
Currently, the township is hosting the box truck and the cow that has been bought by grant money through the Northwest PA Task Force. Recently, the Erie County has been using those pieces of equipment for some antenna issues within the region. I am requesting at this time that we transfer the housing ownership of those two pieces of equipment to Erie County. They will still be available for us if we would need to use them, but being that they have had the most use up at the county at this point, it makes sense to transfer that equipment to them. So I'm recommending that we authorize the transfer of the equipment from the task force back to Erie County.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions for Ms. Anderson?
No.
Hearing none, is there a motion to approve this transfer?
I'll make that motion, Dan.
Okay,
And I'll second it.
and it's been moved and seconded. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Moving on to Treasurer Communications. Ms. Page?
I don't have a report at this time.
Thank you. We have a hiring request for Parks and Recreation. Mr. Bach?
Thank you. We have a request from our, excuse me, Parks and Rec Director Ashley Marsteller for a new hire, James Goodwin, rate of $20.74 per hour, start date of March 13th, 2024. James recently worked as a foreman for Asplin Tree Expert, 7 years. He has experience in tree maintenance and landscaping. He's also done residential landscaping on the side for 10 years. He has a Class B CDL with air brakes. This is to fill a vacancy?
That's correct.
Okay. The Parks and Rec Department as described.
Thank you, Mr. Bach. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Executive sessions were held on February 29th, litigation matters related to zoning hearing board appeals, permitting dispute, and code enforcement matters, discussion on personnel matters, and real estate matters related to easements on township properties and parks and rec facilities. On March 7th, litigation matters related to code enforcement, zoning hearing board appeal and permitting disputes, public safety matters, and real estate matters related to easement on township properties and parks and rec facilities. Next item on the agenda is Mill Creek's 224th birthday. Mr. Peterson.
So today is Mill Creek's 224th birthday. Mill Creek was established on March 12, 1800. The township is celebrating its 224th birthday today in 2024. Mill Creek will continue to serve every resident with its mission, vision, and values. Mission being to serve the residents of Mill Creek Township. Vision being to cultivate a growing and inspired community of neighbors. And values being family, industry, recreation, safety, stewardship, and sustainability. Please make sure to visit Mill Creek's social media tonight. We'll be posting a video about the going over the mission and what it means to different people here working in the township building. And throughout the week, we'll be doing one on the vision and values as well. And Mill Creek Township employees will be speaking about those. And the mission, the vision, and the values will continue to guide Mill Creek into the future.
Thank you, sir. Happy birthday, Mill Creek.
Cake?
Cake? Yeah.
No, no cake.
Moving on to solicitor communications.
Nothing further on my end.
Okay, and I don't think we have a student ambassador today. Moving on to citizens to be heard.
I think you know who I am, John Grove. I've got two quick matters, if you don't mind. First of all, as you could probably imagine, the status of the treasurer. I understand he's still out, and an investigation's going on. I'm going to use that term in quotations. I'm not really sure what this is all about, but I'm going to say that by the time the dust is settled on this entire matter, it's going to be one heck of a book. That's all I can say. Moving on to the other issue at hand there, or just a question, a comment, and I'm going to offer sincerely my help with this if you want to do it, okay? Has to do with the signage down there at the Gateway project. It does not appear that that's going to be demolished prior to the eclipse. I understand there was a news accounts that these were going to be, buildings were going to be knocked down and cleared out of there by that. Hopefully I misunderstood that, but no matter what, those banners there, I know there's different views on this whole thing. First of all, if it's a sign, you can't read the sign from the street. You actually have to go to the property, and I don't think we want people on the property. But the other thing is too, and I mean this with all sincerity, whenever you have, in my experience working in construction years ago, when I was working on projects that were funded by the government, state, federal, or sometimes even local, there was a big congratulate me sign, I call it, and it would be the entity that was funding the project, the name of the project, who was funding it, and so on. Just a quick suggestion, the Gateway project, funded by the Mill Creek Township General Authority, and then put the names of all the authority members and stuff like that. Project date, something like that, because I know there's a concern about people when they're going to come and visit Presque Isle State Park for the eclipse, and I get that, okay? And of course, it's a little embarrassing that we have these buildings down there in the condition that they're in. I'm thinking that you still have time. Maybe you could put these things up on big 4x8 sheets of plywood or something, and put them out closer to the street. This way our visitors will see that this isn't Mill Creek Township normally, that this is something that is just the way it is right now. It's just a temporary measure, and we do have something going on here, and it's called the Gateway Project, whatever that may include. So, as I said, I'm offering help on that for just some comments. If not, I'm sure you guys can come up with some ideas of what to do. I just wanted to say that. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Groh.
Matt, do we have a estimated start date on that?
So the contractor has notified us that they plan to start March 25th, which would be a week from Monday. So they will be actively under demolition. I would assume that they would at least be into the manor and the sandbar by April 8th. The current schedule that they provided us is they would start at the Bel Air in the back, move over to Sandbar and Manor, complete those two, and then move across the street to Joe Roots, because they're required to do E&S controls, fencing around the sites, everything. So they're going to do them as kind of 3 separate. Yeah, so I can't guarantee exactly everything would be down by the 8th, but they should be well underway by that time.
Okay, in case we get calls.
Thank you, Matt. Hello.
Thanks for letting me talk today. Jerry Savino, 1720 West Warren Road. Hey, this EMS stuff is still going on. Still hearing about it. Still not happy with it. Called Corey, Harbor Creek, Northeast, Fairview. Nothing. They have nothing. No fire tax, no EMS tax. Summit gives $1 million to Perry Highway. Franklin Township, they have a fire tax and EMS, and they're working with McCain in Edinburgh. Edinburgh is, I think, possibly considering it. I called Gerard. They have a fire tax, and I talked to a nice gal out there, Lindy. And they're part of the West County EMS. And I still say, I'm not against an authority. I don't approve of it because I don't think enough of the municipalities, boroughs have taken the gumption to go to their citizens and raise their taxes, which they're allowed to do with an EMS tax, if that's the problem, and fund East and West County. Now, South County, I don't know who's going to take that job over. Corey has 2 fire departments, their own, which is paid, just like Erie and ours now. And ours is just in, I would say ours is in infancy, but I would say it's gone beyond that. So first grade, it's probably in the element, I can't say the word anyways, but, you know, grades 1 through 6. You know, it's just going to keep evolving. And eventually, I see Mill Creek Paramedic Service may become part of the fire service. And I just look at, we got what, 23,500 households? You said a different number, 29 for the pamphlets?
Includes the businesses.
Excuse me?
It includes businesses.
So they're in LST, local services tax. Used to be occupational privilege tax. We're taxed on that. We're taxed on a phone. $1.97 now, I think. Went from $1.65. And as of January 1st, that proposal on the agenda, I must have to collect money. Would that be like for the EMS or say paramedic services through the fire department?
That's currently what occurs is when these services respond to like auto accidents
Sure.
and things like that. So they'll send out bills to recover the cost of the materials used and those types of things. It's not a huge dollar amount, but it helps offset some of those costs that are incurred as a result of those types of things.
Well, the EMS runs starting January 1st were raised up too, correct? Reimbursements, from what I read. Do I got to get my phone?
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
You be talking about Medicare and Medicaid reimbursements, or?
I'm not, I don't know if that's state or through that, yeah. Shapiro come out with more funding or proposals. So I just want you to know, I think there's a lot of, you can't get a hold of half of these little places, Amity, Union, you know, Wayne, Concord, Elgin, you can't ask them or get a hold of them to find out exactly what they have, what they don't have. But I stress that if these people aren't willing, and they're managers or township supervisors, if they aren't willing to step up, why should we, as Mill Creek, and I'm assuming this, and maybe I'm wrong, with a countywide authority, we're gonna be assessed per household or per person. Why should we have to fund them until they fund themselves and show that they're gonna do it? And then, if that's not enough, perhaps an authority would become a reality. So that's one thing. And I thank you for listening. And I hope you'll consider, I mean, I'll go through this, and I'll try to get a hold of all these, send letters out to find out, because the local services tax provides 25% is supposed to, emergency services. Now, I don't know what you do with that tax. If it all goes to the fire department, all goes to police, or, you know, some, one municipality, I forget, I'm sorry, they give all theirs to the police. So, it's a great thing. I liken this towards the state police tax, or the gas tax. All these communities don't want that don't want per person fees to fund the state police, but yet we are actually funding our police department and funding state police to provide their protection through the gas tax. It's just a similar type thing. So that's it. I'm done with that. I got one more thing. On 13th of February, you put in stop signs for Thoroughbred Loop. I just drove through it this morning. I don't see any signs. You didn't put them in yet?
They're in. They're in.
They're in? Well, that's kind of...
Maybe you didn't see them, so you didn't stop.
Excuse me? I drove through it. There's
you
stuff
drove
going
through
on.
it.
No, going around, there ain't too many going around. It's little offshoots. But there's quite a bit of stuff going on in there. But I can't get a stop sign up on West Gore. I can't get the study, police department does a study and they say we're not worthy, but that's a flat run from Washington to Perkins. A flat run. And it's no different on the other side of West Gore. I think it's from Peach Street Peach Street to Dorchester? Clinton? That's a flat run too. You know where that nice little dip is? You know, correct? You could probably launch somebody if they really got the flying there. I mean, I'm not asking for a lot. It's summer. We can't put speed bumps in and take them back out like at the bottom of the peninsula. But I guess, you know, we aren't enough of a thoroughbred up on West Gore Road to afford the stop signs, or what? That's a question. Our tax base isn't high enough, or we're not contributing enough. It's kind of ironic to me that I see that. And you go to 54th Street and you got 3 stop signs before you get to the church, to the school. I understand the need there, but I don't understand the need on Thoroughbred Loop. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else for public comment?
This is Marska Philip, 454 West 57th Street. We'll talk a little bit about code enforcement, or the lack thereof. I just hired a landscaping company to do spring cleanup for myself, which includes cleanup in the yard, weeds and grasses, and edging, new mulch, $1,600. Then I also contracted them to mow my lawn once a week for $60 a week. I chose to do that because I don't want to do it anymore, but I know somebody has to do it. But maybe I'm wrong on somebody has to do it, because code enforcement doesn't enforce codes. I have a yard next to me which is left to nature. I've filed a complaint. I've met with them. They don't see it my way. I guess it's just a matter of opinion. But I don't know how they can not see it my way. This is a natural area. that is being left to its own growth rates. Just nothing but weeds and rodents. Just let it grow, that's okay. I'll take care of mine. Secondly, I just filed another complaint about an in-ground pool with an enclosure that doesn't meet code. First of all, I was told that this is closed. I wasn't told anything. I received back an email that this was closed and an inspection was performed. I really doubt that that's a true statement, because I filed on this one about, probably 6 weeks ago, or 6 months ago, and they told me the same thing. And in addition to that, they say that this enclosure met code at the time of installation. I read through your code book. I don't see where there's any grandfather rules. You know, that's unacceptable. This is not only a code violation, but it's also a safety violation. It's about the gate closing by itself. It's about a latch that's non-accessible by small people. It's protecting pets and kids. But we'll just leave it go because we don't want to do anything. We don't want to cause any problems. We'll grandfather it in. You're about to turn a one-way or a two-way street into a one-way street over on Glenwood Park Avenue. I guess I can go either way because I'm grandfathered in. You know, I don't know how they can justify what they do in code enforcement. It took them over 2 years to remove a vehicle that was parked in a yard with no registration, no license. Over 2 years for them to move it. And it was the resident that moved it, but code enforcement tried to take credit for that. They said, oh, we made that happen. They never made it happen because they said it wasn't a violation. I have no other means except to come here and bitch. I don't have a right to appeal. Meetings are completely worthless. They weren't taken seriously. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else for citizens to be heard?
Can I get up again for a minute?
Sure.
I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't even write. Hey, Jerry Svidio again. I don't know if this gentleman is, you know, what he's telling you is it's accurate through, you know, through his eyes and that, but I will tell you that I interacted with Miss Anderson, and she investigated house by my house, 2 houses by my house, and there's been action taken. I do thank her, and I applaud her efforts. I'm not here to minimize him. I'm just here to tell you that this gal does what she can do, and I don't really know her beyond Mill Creek Township. So I thank you for...
It's not about that gal, it's about this township.
All right. Well, that's what I said. I mean, I know this
I
guy.
don't have anything against any one of these people.
No, I understand that. I just say she's an asset to this township and an asset to me. So thank you. I mean, all you can do is keep trying, I guess. Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we are adjourned at 10:19. Thank you.